Hello, I'm Kevin Carlson with Crysalli. In this video, I am going to show you how to disassemble one of our SSX faucets. It's the same process for our X010 faucets, which would be found on the countertop systems. This particular faucet is what we use on the CBR towers, the draft towers. Another function that I'm going to show you is if these faucets, they come with a self-closing feature, meaning when I pull the faucet forward, once I let go of the lever, it automatically closes. We can convert this faucet to be a manually open, manually closed valve by removing a spring that's integrated into the system. So I will show you how to convert this by removing that spring, and then how to reassemble this faucet, and then go through the adjustments to set the flow. So first off, you're going to want a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. You're going to want a 14 millimeter open end wrench, or you can use a crescent wrench. A 9/16 wrench will work as well. And then you also need a faucet wrench. So for starters, this most likely is already installed on a CBR tower. So the shank is actually already screwed in. There's really no need to remove the shank. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the faucet assembly from the shank. And what you'll do is you'll take your faucet wrench, and you're going to, this is a collar nut. The collar nut is what secures the faucet to the shank. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the faucet wrench and engage it into the collar nut. There's a serpentine of holes around the circumference of the collar nut. So we engage that into there, and then we rotate it clockwise. If we were facing this faucet, we're going to rotate it until it's loose. Once it's loose, you can unscrew it by hand by continuing to rotate it clockwise. Once it is loose, the collar nut will come free from the gauge or from the faucet, and we'll have just the faucet assembly in your hand. This portion of the faucet is your flow control compensator. What that does is it rotates in and out of the faucet to adjust the annulus between the flow control and the inner diameter of the shank. And you adjust that by engaging a Allen wrench into this and rotating it clockwise or counterclockwise, either way, and it will move this in or out, which is actually what's causing, allowing for flow adjustment. So the next step is I'm going to take the 14 millimeter open end wrench, and I'm going to remove this nut that's on the side, on the right hand side of the faucet. So I'm just going to loosen it, and then once it's loosened, I will unscrew it by hand by rotating it counterclockwise. And when I do that, it will disengage this cam assembly from the flow compensator. So on the flow compensator, you'll see there's a spring on the front side of it. There's a little recessed hole in the front. That spring rests in that hole, and then once you pull the handle, it puts pressure on the spring. Once you release it, it pushes forward. If we want this faucet to be a or a manual open, manual closed faucet, we simply remove this spring. So you just simply pull it out, set it aside, and then reassemble the faucet. In this case, I'm going to put the spring back in. So I'm putting it back into that hole that's in the front of that compensator. And then when this is the cam assembly that we just removed from these threads on the side. So the way this cam works is the cam actually, that little nipple on the cam engages in the groove that's on this flow compensator. So that actually goes in there. So when you rotate that Allen wrench, it rotates this, moves this up or down ever so slightly. So what I'm going to do when I'm in my assembly, I'm actually looking through this side hole where this cam goes as I'm inserting the flow control compensator in there. And once I can see that groove is lined up, not sure if you can see it, but that groove, I can see that. Then what I will do is I'll take the cam, press it in fully, tighten it by hand, And once it is tightened by hand, I will simply spin this just to make sure that I'm spinning the compensator just to make sure it is engaged properly, it's not popping out. Once I've got that complete, I will take the 14mm wrench and I will tighten it just no more than a quarter turn. So I'm tightening it, going clockwise to tighten it. And now that it is assembled, we can put it back onto the shank. So again, this shank is going to be on the tower. We're simply going to slide the faucet into the shank and then hand tighten, get it engaged fully, and then hand tighten the collar nut till it's tight. Once it's tight, I will take the faucet wrench and make sure it's fully secure and snug. At this point, you can turn the water back on, check for leaks, and then make your flow adjustments. So by making my flow adjustments, what I'm going to do is I'm inserting the Allen wrench into the side of the faucet, and I can rotate it clockwise. It'll come to a stopping point. That's probably that's in a fully closed, no flow position. And then I can rotate it all the way the other direction and it'll go to the same position. As you can see, it won't rotate 360 degrees. So then you can just set your set the position to get your desired flow. And then after that, remove the Allen wrench, set it aside, and you're good to go as far as the flow setting. The other thing I like to look at is sometimes these components on here, this top bonnet nut, will get loose. So if that is loose, just simply hand tighten it. Don't use a pair of vice grips or channel locks to tighten it. Just tighten it by hand till it's snug, and this will activate properly. If you have any questions, feel free to call our customer service department and we'd be happy to walk you through this process. Thank you.